Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Normally I do pack openings or news and my thoughts, but today I thought I'd do something that I've kind of had in the back of my head for a while, and up until now I haven't gotten the chance to do. So as you've probably already read in the title of the video, I'm going to be doing a top 5 for what I think maybe would be cool Pokemon to get Alolan forms. I'm starting with 5 because this is my first top of whatever, and I didn't want to kind of overload myself. So you'll have to excuse me if this video is not as polished as I would maybe want it to be. It's my first time, so please be kind. Before I begin, I'd just like to say most of the images that I have in this video are basically from Google Images. I did my best to try to find the source pages from all of the art that I found, and I've even put links in the description trying to link back to the original artists. With that said, let's get started. First, I just want to say that none of these are in any real particular order. They're just Pokemon that I'd like to see with Alolan forms in the games. So I have to admit, I'm not all that knowledgeable about the competitive play side of Pokemon. So most of the ideas that I have for this video are based on design and concept, more so than competitive play. So the first Pokemon we're going to start off with is Jynx. It's typically an Ice and Psychic type and has more of a ballroom gown look to it. I think Jynx could fit in the Alolan region pretty well if it had an Alolan form. And what better way to make it look more like an Alolan Pokemon than to make it a hula dancer? I think most people look at Jynx and when they try to make up a Alolan form to it, immediately go to the hula dancer. It already has a dress kind of look to it, so why not swap out the ball gown and put in a grass skirt? Naturally, it would also have a coconut bra. As for typing, I don't know if it would keep Ice. I could definitely see it keeping Psychic type, but what else would it turn into? I suppose it could stay Psychic type, but I think it would be better off suited with an extra typing, like maybe Fairy type. It would certainly fit its new identity as a hula dancer. Plus, it could even have a connection with Comfey. One of the reasons I think that Jynx deserves to get some kind of form is that it used to be part of a trio. Back in Gen 1, it was paired up with Electabuzz and Magmar. In Gen 2, all 3 got pre-evolutions, but then in Gen 4, only Magmar and Electabuzz got evolutions. Thus, Jynx was left behind, so giving it an Alolan form would be perfect for it. Next on the list is actually 2 Pokemon, and they are Ekans and Arbok. Usually these 2 are pure poison, but an Alolan form could change that. There are plenty of ideas of what Arbok and Ekans could turn into, but one of the more popular ideas is that they become water type, and maybe stay poison to some degree. Either way, water type is the new thing that it has going for it. I think most people think of water when they think of Ekans and Arbok because of the second movie when they see an Ekans swimming along with all these other water type Pokemon. It's not a hard concept to actually think about. There are already serpents and there are water snakes, so why not make Arbok and Ekans water type? I think the idea of an Alolan Ekans and Arbok is a cool idea. Snakes aren't typically indigenous to Hawaii, so introducing a new type of snake, they'd have to adapt to the environment. Essentially, Ekans and Arbok would have to learn to swim. I think it would also be a cool addition to their typing. And that's with or without keeping the poison type. Oh, and one more thing. Arbok already has cool designs based on where it lives. Why not have one more that's a little bit more specific? By gaining a water type, its overall design can change, but also the pattern that's on its hood as well. Number 3 on our list is another pair of Pokemon, and I actually got this idea from a fake leak that I saw a number of weeks ago. But I liked the idea so much that I decided that I actually would not mind if they became Alolan forms. Those Pokemon are Grimer and Muk. In their Alolan forms, they would become ground and water type. The basic premise behind their Alolan forms is that Alola is more of a clean and more natural region, so there is no pollution there. Thus, Grimer and Muk are essentially cleansed of any grossness that were part of them. To keep up with their names, Grime and Muk, they basically just become balls of dirt and mud. Thus the ground and water typing. I like this a lot. It makes you think that maybe some Pokemon are their own typings, like poison or whatever, just based on how they lived and where they were born. Maybe Muk and Grimer aren't as gross as we think they are. When I first saw the fake leak, it was originally ground type in the leak, but I decided in my own head that I thought maybe water type would fit it too. Otherwise they'd just be hard rocks or dirt and dry, and that's not very grimy and mucky. So, with a little bit of water added to them, they become more sludgy. And as I was looking online to see if I can find some photos of Alolan, Grimer, and Muk, somebody else had that idea too, with adding the water type to it. Next up is number 2 on our list, and that's Golduck. Golduck is usually just a water type, but I think its Alolan form would be much better suited to be adding the Psychic type too. It already has a lot going for it in terms of Psychic typing. When it's a Psyduck, it can learn Confusion, and when it evolves into a Golduck, it can learn Zen Headbutt. Not only that, but it also can learn a bunch of other Psychic type moves by either TM or breeding. In addition to that, some of its Pokedex entries even say that it has telekinetic powers. Plus, it's got that gem on its forehead. Even the anime kind of alludes to it being sort of kind of like a psychic Pokemon in its own right. So why not officially make it a Psychic type by adding the typing to it for an Alolan form? We've already seen Psyduck in the trailers, and I think that means that maybe Psyduck doesn't get an Alolan form. But just like Pikachu evolves into Alolan Raichu, Psyduck can evolve into Alolan Golduck. I think it's one of those things that people have been waiting for forever, and people even thought that maybe Golduck would get a Mega Evolution that would add the Psychic typing, but we never got that, so why not make it officially a Psychic type? After all, it's already got the powers. And finally, we reach our number 1. This is another pair of Pokemon, and I think they could definitely use an Alolan form. They are Doduo and Dodrio. Typically, these two are normal flying type. Funny enough, they don't actually have any wings per se, despite being able to learn how to use fly. An Alolan form would swap out, funny enough, not the flying type, but the normal type. Once again, I got this idea from a leak, and it may or may not come true, but we have to see to find out for sure, because this one isn't debunked yet. The leak said that this family becomes a fighting and flying type, which honestly, I could definitely see. Both Doduo and Dodrio are really fast Pokemon. Their speeds top out somewhere between 40 and 60 miles per hour. To me, that says that they have really strong legs, which honestly makes a whole lot of sense seeing as what they're based on. Technically, they're based on a couple of different animals, but one that stands out is the ostrich. That's an animal with really powerful legs and it can really run fast. One thing that's interesting is that the ostrich has powerful kicks. What does that mean? It can fight. That's why I think fighting type is perfect for Dodrio and Doduo. Naturally, they don't have arms, so kicking is going to be their main focus. Although, that would be pretty funny if they did have arms. Anyway, I can definitely see their legs beefing up a bit to make it look a bit more like they're going to punch you with their feet. I think it would also spice up their typing a bit. Normal flying has become kind of a boring kind of type combination, seeing as the normal typing doesn't offer as much as the flying part does. So if they have to be dual type, why not make that first typing something a bit more interesting? And I think fighting could really fill that gap. They could even learn moves like double kick, high jump kick, and low kick. Maybe even mega kick. Either way, I think the fighting type could really spice the lineup a bit. Plus, it would help them with their weakness to ice. Well, there you have it. My sort of top 5 Pokemon that I think that should get Alolan forms in Sun and Moon. I really like Alolan forms. It not only harkens to real evolution, but it gives some Pokemon that may not have been in the limelight recently another chance to kind of shine. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of my selections for Alolan forms, and maybe post some Pokemon that you think should get Alolan forms yourselves, with the typings of course. Once again, this is my first top of anything Pokemon video, and I've been thinking about doing something similar to this, but have never really had the time to do it, so I'm glad I got this out now. Let me know what you guys think of my selections, and remember to subscribe so that you can see future videos that I post. Also, leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Well, I'll see you guys later. Bye!